Got it. Oh, sorry.
Welcome to another episode of the Life Adventurist podcast. I'm Jeni Holly, your host, and this is the place to be if you're a conscious entrepreneur, spiritual leader, and I said those backwards, but a conscious leader, spiritual entrepreneur, anything in between, and you love exploring the edges of spirituality and having all of these fun chats around all kinds of different subjects, especially the Akashic Records. And of course, I'm also going to share a bit about travel and adventure and fun because I'm a nomad, and that just comes with it. So, this episode is a very special episode where I want to, and I was really inspired to give you another little sneak peek into what an Akashic Record reading is like. So, I have Keri here with me. And what we're going to do today is we haven't done this already. This isn't pre recorded. This is right here in the moment. And I'm going to let you see behind the scenes as to what an Akashic record reading is. And I say see, so if you're listening, this is also on YouTube. So if you want to watch any of the experience, you can watch it on my channel. And of course, if you're listening, you're going to get benefits out of it as well. And so you're going to see a bit of and hear a bit of, what happens when you like come into the Zoom room with me and what kind of a chat we have and then how the reading goes and all of that. Keri and I were talking before, we've both set the intention that she knows that this is public. So Keri, you can acknowledge that you know that verbally.
I acknowledge that everybody's going to see this
Right, and hear it.
and
So,
hear it. Yes.
so of course she's gonna ask questions that she doesn't mind being public. And we both set the intention that this is for the highest and best good for all, because a lot of times in readings like this that then are made public, there are tidbits that you can pull from and probably see yourself and Keri in some aspects.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I just want to make sure that they know too. I've done a mini reading with you in one of your YouTube activities. So I've had that little taste of an experience, but in essence, this is my first official, really specific and expanded sort of reading, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah. And for podcast purposes, Keri and I were talking about this too. If you book a reading, you can book a reading for 30 minutes or 60 minutes or 90 minutes if you feel like you have a lot more questions and you want to spend more time. This one is going to be 20 minutes ish. I don't know. I'm going to feel into it and we'll just go from there. I love this so much so probably know it'll end up being longer, but I'll be like, wait, okay. All right. So we'll just get into it. Like you just popped into the Zoom room.
Well, and I wanted to let them know too that I got from you a list of questions and it recommended that I have my feet on the ground and I be comfortable and sitting upright. So like little tidbits like that, I think really matter when you know like the email drip you're going to get when you sign up for these things, right? So I found those questions really useful because it helped me eliminate some of the questions that I probably would have asked because I read through them, or I had my Word document read it to me, but I was able to think about it and be like, nope, that's not what I'm going to ask, because hearing it made me realize I didn't need to ask that question. So that's what you can expect.
That's awesome. Okay, so first question I usually ask, and then I don't have to preface anything anymore, is like, how are you feeling today, Keri?
I am super excited. I prepared myself by just kind of listening to things that made me contemplate. I wouldn't say I went into like a meditation or anything, but I definitely listened to speculative. Ooh, that was a hard one to get out. Speculative sort of things. And I made sure that I left myself time to not do anything afterwards. I even cleaned my house so I didn't have to see that afterwards, which that's a big deal for me. I just want to say.
That's awesome. Okay, so we already talked a bit about you're familiar with the Akashic Records. You have had the mini reading.
Just a
little.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to know more or you want to just continue moving?
Well, how about I just reflect to you what I know, and if there's any more pertinent details, you can fill them in.
Okay, perfect.
So from what I understand, the Akashic Records are like an energy-based record that you can tap into if you have kind of tuned yourself to do that, like you have. And it's like reading of the past and like um, an understanding of possible future threads, and to kind of help confirm whether or not we're operating at our best interest, maybe.
Yeah, no, that I think you said it pretty well. And just a small tweak. Yes, the reading can go into past or past lives. The records hold the information of all souls, past, present, and future possibilities.
Okay.
And so the thing that's a small distinction in this is that the Akashic Records is not a psychic reading, although there can be future things that are
Mhm.
shared. Everything is for your highest and best good, for your soul's highest and best good. So, as an example, this has not happened specifically in my reading, but this is one of the things in the training that the Marine Saint Germain had talked about with one of her clients. Is she was asking, I guess, about a living situation, and the record keepers had shared that her roommate that was moving in was actually only going to be staying 2 or 3 months or a month, a very short period of time, and not to worry because another one would come. So
Mm-hmm.
that is very future based, but it helped her to stay grounded in that
Mm,
moment, to trust that the next person would come along in a situation that
yeah,
may have had her go a different direction.
gotcha.
But sometimes things can be like that. It just depends.
Well, and we still have like our free will. She very well could have still chosen to do whatever, regardless of what they said. So there's that too.
Absolutely.
You know?
And the things that come through in a reading. So what happens is I'm the channel, and I'm just going to share with you whatever I see, feel, hear, taste. I don't really get smells or taste very often, but however things come to me intuitively, I'm going to share them with you. My
Okay.
job is to not interpret what it is I'm seeing,
Okay.
or hearing, or feeling, what I'm sharing. I'm just sharing it. And here's why. Let's say I saw a bowl of oranges.
Mhm.
And I interpret it by saying, wow, oranges are so magical and they're very citrusy, and it means you have citrusy, bubbly times ahead. But
I'm
what,
allergic to oranges. So no, I'm
there
just
you
kidding.
go. Right. Like, right. Or like, what if that was a sign of your grandma every time you went to your grandma's house, and that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm
Hmm.
distorting it if I explain how I interpret it to you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they may share a lot of symbols or things or metaphors. And if anything doesn't ever make sense, you can always ask, what do they mean by a bowl of oranges? And then I can check
Okay.
and see if there's additional information. Of course, it's your
Okay.
time, so you choose how you want to ask the questions or what rabbit holes you want to go down.
So you're giving me permission to interrupt you and have like it expanded upon, because I don't think I would have necessarily, yeah, I wouldn't have done that in like a live mini reading, for instance.
So I would say I'm just going to tweak that word. Interrupting can be
Yeah.
tough.
Okay. Fair
That can
enough.
be tough, especially, so we do something really special here called opening remarks.
Hmm.
And so, especially for the opening remarks, if you can
Hmm.
refrain from interacting, asking questions, or going deeper, because what's happening is I'm getting like a download of information,
Okay.
and it's information that's being shared. It's like when you when you said yes to this,
Uh-huh.
the record keepers are already pooling information that can help serve you and sometimes answer some of your questions.
In advance. Yeah. That would make sense, huh?
So, as that's coming through, it's rare. Sometimes people will interrupt on those, but it does make it a little more choppy of an experience where it's harder for me to like re-pull that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of
Okay.
like dissolves the energy of it to where it's a really special thing.
That makes sense though.
So, um,
Okay.
so on that, but in the rest of it, of course, it can
It'll
be more
be
of a
obvious. Yeah. It'll be obvious when I can
because I'll
ask.
say they're ready for your questions, and then we can it can be more of a dialogue. It's just that one part. So,
Hmm.
and also too, interrupting when I'm trying to like translate energy can be tough because I may not remember.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Honestly, that could be part of the experience too. Meaning, if you interrupt and something doesn't get downloaded, well, maybe that's a learning lesson in how you can reflect on
No,
whatever happened or didn't happen.
right. Right.
Everything has a purpose.
Everything. I mean, really, it's all information, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
Period. End of story. It's all information.
So, do you have any other questions before I do the opening prayer to open your records?
No, no, I think I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. And so I'm just going to pause and add to the podcast and the video here is that this conversation could be, 5, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes. It's really just based on the needs of the person coming in. I think we did go a little bit more into detail because of the podcast and just being able to explain things a little bit more. So that whole experience is unique to each person. And so what I'm going to do next, and typically that part would not be recorded. And so what I would do next is I would get your legal name, which I already got, and I would then go on mute and I would do the sacred opening ceremony to open your records. And then I would come back off of mute. I would press record and, start recording your session and say your records are now open.
Okay.
As we're recording this and we're already like here with the video, here's what's going to happen. So from a YouTube video perspective, I am still going to go on mute, but the video is going to stay. So it's going to be a few minutes while I do that. From a podcast perspective, my editing team is probably going to edit out this 2 or 3 minutes of silence. So if you're listening to this, right, just know that there was a little pause in between and then I came back after, but it's going to stay here on the video. So I wanted to share that.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go on mute. I'm going to open your records and I'll be back shortly.
Mess with my mic for a minute. There we go.
All right, Keri, your records are now open. Today is June 30th, 2023. I'm Jeni Holla and I'm here with Keri and her record keepers and guides. Before I get to opening remarks, I'll just let you know a couple of sensations that came through while I was opening your records. One of them is I saw a vision of like very like curled up, cramped up into just wanting to just open very wide and just like open everything up. And also there was a lot of energy moving. I was burping, and so energy will move through yawns and burps and different things. So I had started burping. So if I do burp throughout this, it's just energy moving and I'm helping to move things for you.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so let me see what they have to share for opening remarks. Okay, so what they're doing right now is I see them with a book and they're kind of like flittering the pages of a book, kind of like this, where it's like, I don't know how to explain that if you're listening, but they're flittering the pages of a book, and they're flitting that out in front of me. And what's in those pages are like your past lives. Like they just keep doing that over and over. And so even though I said that opening remarks, you listen, they are going to ask you a question here. And this is not something that you have to say verbally. You can if you feel guided. But what's going to happen is they're going to flip that book, and then you're going to have a moment where you're like, stop. And then we'll see what comes up there. So they are, and I've never had this before, so they're wanting to be interactive with this. So
fun. Okay, now.
Okay, so we got to the third book, and they're pulling that book out for me. Let me tune in and see what's here, what they want to share. Okay. The past life story here is how they want me to say it. The past life story is the damsel in disguise story.
Okay.
And it's one where it's interesting because you're in this past life, you're playing the damsel in disguise. And it's interesting because the circumstances around it are damsel in disguise circumstances where it would be warranted, but at the same time, you're acting. Like you're acting. It's like you're just playing along with the version of it in this past life. It's like internally you know that it's kind of like not really fully true that you could step out at any time, but it's almost like I just keep seeing like this like fainting, like, and it's just this whole thing, this whole production that you're doing in this. And I keep seeing it this way, and this could mean something, this could not mean something, but I'm specifically seeing in this vision one of those like pointy princess hats that have the like veil hanging off of it is how it's coming through right now. Let me see if there's more for this that they want to share, or if this is just one of those set the tone for today type of things. Okay, it's interesting. So what they're doing, so that this fairy tale type of scene that was playing out is now transitioned into more of a serious type of matter where it's like there's a battle going on. It's like a war going on outside of the castle. And you're witnessing this, and you're like, wow, I caused this, and this was not my intention. I was playing this role, and now I'm seeing this all play out here. And this is not what I intended. And at that point, like you feel very helpless, like you can't do anything about it. And there's a strong urge that they're sharing is that you're like wanting to call in your dragons. You're wanting to call in your dragons to support. And it's interesting because the dragons are not coming the way that you think they should, because in a past life, they came in the physical, and in this life, they're not coming in the physical like they used to in a previous life. So they're coming to you, but you're not seeing them the way that you wanted. Like you wanted them to come and help pacify the situation. And the thing is they're there, but you're not recognizing they're there. And the people who are battling and fighting are not consciously aware of it either. So they can't sense their presence. Like you can kind of see some pieces that the battles are pacifying, but it's still happening. And so there's a level of frustration in you that it's not working the way that you thought, not working like you thought you could undo this really easily, and it's just not, like it's not happening. And there's like some frustration, there's some sadness. You're starting to disconnect, and you're starting to retreat and like pull away and isolate yourself and distance yourself because you feel really responsible for this. Okay, so they're now inviting you, although this is not happening in this now 3D moment in this body, they're inviting both of us actually to take a couple breaths and just to acknowledge that this is what's become present in this reading, and just to what is the word? Allow it to integrate. So if we could take 3 deep breaths. Sending love to that part of you who experienced this. One more deep breath. And now if you could see that past life, that version of you standing in front of you, and to have a little conversation with her and tell her what you're feeling right now in this moment based on your current awareness and understanding, what you're feeling about this situation, sending her love. Asking her how she feels, letting her share. I'm seeing a vision of tears flowing between each of you in this. And let her know that it's okay and this is not something she has to carry anymore. It's not something that you have to carry anymore. Give me a nod or a verbal once you have completed that portion. Okay, so the last thing is to open your arms and to hug her like into you, to let her like merge with you, to come one, like for your two energies to come together. And it's like you're absorbing her from an energetic standpoint because she's really just a version of you. And it's with full acceptance and full love. And they're also sharing too that with this, you're also have now made her abilities and talents more present to you in this timeline, in this lifetime. And so they're saying that you can access them with the snap of a finger and at the same time. Like that's how present they are. But at the same time, there's like a level of integration that you are going to go through with this. They're sharing that this is something you've chose at a soul level to have this level of integration with it as far as the discovery of these. And they're sharing that this is across a lot of things in your life. As much as you would like to snap your fingers and have it done, there's been a choice at a soul level for there to be more like hands-on experience with integration of things, with learning of things, with bringing things into your awareness and into your life. And they're saying that if you were able to snap your fingers in this lifetime, it wouldn't serve you because there's lessons in that process and that integration. And they're just planting the seed because they're like, okay, all right, Keri, in one of 10 or one of 15 or one of 20, you're going to snap your fingers and it's going to integrate really quickly. And you'd be like, woohoo! It's like the one celebratory thing that kind of keeps you going because you are experiencing things at a deeper level. So it's like you'll have one every whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then that's what keeps you going. And it's like that's your soul basically I don't know, like assisting you, right? Like giving you like a little bolt of energy so you don't completely just, ooh, okay, so you don't completely just retreat like this old version of you, this previous version of you, don't just pull away and retreat completely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yep.
Let me see if there's anything else for, that was a very, very cool. I haven't had an opening remark like that in a while. It was very detailed with the integrative process. So let me see if there's anything else they want to share or if they're ready for your questions. Okay, that's what I thought. So they do want to move to questions because of the shorter time frame. If we were doing like an hour session, there are more opening remarks for you. And it doesn't mean that you're missing out on them because they will be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like they were like, this is a good transition point to allow you space to ask your questions. And
it's like they know me.
Maybe.
Or something. Wow, that was lovely. And it was so uniquely me. So I just wanted to like, I get it. I know. I get it. I hear them. I got it. They're speaking my language. In a lot of ways. So let me just take a second and actually re-look at my questions and see if they're like relevant or if I want to ask them slightly differently. I do want to say that it makes a lot of sense that I would have a slow integration with that. It felt like strength, like warmth and strength, and like a piece of me that I didn't know I was missing, kind of like feeling fuller, like eating a meal, feeling like slightly satiated, was the sensation that I got. But also I knew that when you said I would absorb her energy and powers, I knew that it wasn't going to be all at once because I want to experience things in that way.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's what I am here to turn around and vocalize to other people. It's why I agreed to do this publicly with you, because it's part of what I'm here to do.
And they're sharing something right now. When you said turn around and vocalize, they dropped in a feeling and a message. So like I'm feeling like my throat is blocked a little bit right now. And so and I'm feeling like short of breath. It's like, I'm the way I was going to say it, they were like, no, say it differently. Okay. They're like, yes, and you're not fully aligned in the power of the vocalization. Like they're like, yeah, you're vocalizing, but that's why they're giving me like the shortness of breath. Like you're vocalizing from a less supportive place as far as like alignment versus a more supportive full place where there isn't that like shortness of breath or blockage there energetically. And so what's happening is it's like what you're sharing, it's almost like this, they're showing it energetically. It's like the words are going out and then they're just kind of dissipating and they're not really like landing anywhere. Or they'll land on a couple little leaves or something, but they're not really, they just kind of like evaporate is how they're showing it.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. But that doesn't mean it's not going to get there.
No, it's not even. I'm going to see. I feel like something else was maybe coming through. So let me just. Okay. The next thing they're sharing with this is that this is a pure, this is a human decision that you've made. It's not a soul decision. This is a human decision that you've made.
Okay.
And there's a sense of like protection that you've put up. It's like, it's keeping you protected by sharing in this way versus really getting out there in a deeper, more expansive, more aligned way. There's like this is the cool thing is they're saying this is something that you've basically put in place at a subconscious level
Okay.
that you can easily take away, but they're showing me it's going to be kind of like a chipping down. Like they're showing like an axe, like chipping down at a little pickaxe, chipping down at a little ice block or whatever. Like it's something that you can take back away.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, so one of the questions that I had was, and I don't know if it's a soul decision or a human decision, and it relates directly to what I was just told. And that is, I keep coming back to different versions of helping people be able to, no, is that right? See, I knew once I started saying it out loud, they would kind of shift and change. So, so as a coach, I want to help people create an environment that's better for other humans in some way. Like that's like what I want to do as like a conscious human being. And so I've gone through several like iterations of trying to imagine what that is for me. And I have like nothing to really base it on because I don't see it in the world outside for me to be like, oh, okay, I can do it like that. As a matter of fact, it's like the exact opposite. I'm like, nope, not like that. Nope, not like that. Nope, not like that. And so I keep coming back to like this teaching from the beginning of some sort of business. And the idea that that will ripple out and I'll provide some sort of information that people will find valuable, which is not like the question at all. So I guess my question would really be, is that my second business question? I'm going to put those both together because I think that'll be useful. My other question was, as far as hard skills go, sometimes I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall with like trying to learn a new like hard skill, tactile skill. And I'm just looking for what's the best balance of energy from like something that I need to learn, technically speaking, not literally just tech, but technically speaking, as opposed to how I'm going to be expressing myself energetically. Like, what is that balance? Because I think that that gets me. Yes, that's
Okay.
my question ish.
So in the first part of the question that you were sharing, like the very first part where I don't even remember exactly fully what you were saying, but they were bringing back that throat issue, right? Like of where the block, because wish I could remember exactly what you said because I could tie it in, but basically it was like, whatever you're trying to do is not happening because this is still like closed off, like like they were sharing before. And it's not that it's closed off, it's just not fully open. Which also ties into the second piece of what they were sharing of they're like, it's not about the things that you know right now. It's not about the tools that you add to your tool belt.
Okay.
It's that vision that they gave before of like the crouch down to the opening up because there's an energy in that. It's almost as if you're gathering your energy. And I actually remember this from one of the free readings that you got where it was like kind of pulling all your soul pieces together. So it's like that, like you're pulling all of that in and harnessing all of your energy to then have that be the force that puts it out there.
I'll know it when I get there.
I'm not going to say that that's not it, but I'm going to say this is what they showed me when you said that. They showed like a miss. Not that that isn't correct.
Okay.
I'm not
No.
But that like it's almost like they showed that the yard dart completely missed the circle. Is what they showed.
It happens. It's happened to me before. It's okay. It's okay. I'll keep I'll keep working on that. Usually my first response is not the right one. I'll just leave it at that.
They say that with love because I feel like
I know.
they're like, woo, like they just woo.
They're just like one of those, like, that went right over her head, didn't it? No.
I've not had that before in a reading too, but I think that since everything that the record keepers do is with love,
Well, they understand my sense of humor.
Right,
Yeah.
they're reflecting back to you. Okay.
All right.
So with that being said, I was gonna say, with that being said, I feel like there's a clear path here. Go in the direction that you feel best serves you right now.
Okay. Is there there was one more question that I had that's not business related.
It's up to you.
Yes and no. I am with my partner. I know that we're together because eventually we're going to embark on some sort of project together, probably not like a worldly sort of project or, but I find myself being impatient for that. And so I'm wondering if, well, I guess I'm not like constantly dwelling on it, but it is something that crosses my mind. And I want to make sure that I'm not so wrapped up in myself that I miss the signs that he's ready, because we have kind of an unusual relationship and there is the probability, like whoosh, right? that I'll miss it. And I really don't want to. So if they have anything to say about that, which again, it's not really a question.
They're sharing, there's two things that are happening. I'll share with you energy part and then what they were saying. So as you were saying that, my heart was just beating really fast. A lot of energy in my heart space with that. And the other thing that they were starting to say that I'm going to share now is that, like, they're like, dear one, you're not going to miss what's meant for you.
Okay.
Like, you're not going to miss what's meant for you. They're saying that it may not be on your timeline. And even if they're showing it this, like, it's, let's say there's a line and this is your timeline. This is just an illustration. Okay. Let's say it comes through your timeline and you don't recognize it. What's meant for you will come back on your timeline.
Okay.
Now, as they're sharing, as it comes back on the timeline, it will look different each time. But the essence of the lesson, of the soul choice, of the, like, what's meant for you, the essence is there, but the way that it shows up, or the way that it unfolds, will be slightly different each time.
Okay. It's like a puzzle. Nope. Not like a puzzle.
No, that one feels more that one, I was feeling in, because I was like, it didn't give me a hard yes, but that wasn't a complete miss. That was just, I was feeling into that energetically. Because, okay, they do have a message with this. They're saying it's not like a puzzle.
Okay.
They're saying aspects of it are, because, yeah, right? You're figuring things out and figuring out where pieces go. But they're saying that what they were sharing is not quite like a puzzle, because by you labeling it as a puzzle and thinking that it's a puzzle is actually making it more difficult. For this specific, topic. It's like, okay, yeah, like, that's true, and making it more difficult by putting that, like, kind of on this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, yeah, what they're showing me too is they're showing me that is in a way like a shield that you've put on your life. Like, oh, my life's a puzzle. Okay. And, like, kind of. They're just kind of, because yes, because they're not saying this or that. They're saying, yes, there's truth to that, but that's also creating more of like a barrier for you. It's almost like you have to break through this puzzle in order to see the light, but the puzzle doesn't even have to be there.
Yeah.
It's like, another way that they're showing it is like it's like all of the pieces of the puzzle are there except for like these couple of gaps that are in it, and it's like those are the gaps you can stick your head through, but it's like you don't want to stick your head through the gap because the puzzle's not done, or you're going to break the puzzle, stick your head through the gap to then get past the puzzle, but like the puzzle is irrelevant.
Yep, that tracks. Yep. Okay. Heard. I hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Oh, this is quite fun.
Just a minute.
Okay, so we do have time for one more question if you have anything else you want to ask.
No. I did like I want to express some appreciation for the damsel in disguise while we're keyed in here, because normally it's a damsel in distress, but because I was like play acting at it, it was damsel in disguise.
Are those the words that I said?
Yeah,
that was funny.
But it made sense. Like,
oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
I just wanted to say thank you, because that is something that I can pinpoint in my life. Not exactly always the damsel in distress play acting, but I specifically remember points in my life where I tried on things that I knew weren't for me to see what it was like. And so thank you for that. Thank you for that, and for giving me a piece of myself back. So I mean, that's really yeah, that's the last question.
Okay. Would you like me to check for closing remarks before we close your records?
Oh, absolutely.
You're like, hell yeah, what else are they going to give me here?
Well, tasty biscuits, right?
Okay, so they're saying, Keri, we admire your spunk, your spirit, everything that it's like your soul has came here to experience everything, everything. And so they really admire that you have such this desire to be a part of everything. And so they're sharing just a couple of things here. One, accepting that that's what you are wanting to do, is like taste all of the flavors. And to not allow that to hinder you or stop you, or to compare yourself or get mad at, or, just accepting that that is the case. And also at the same time, another way of looking at it is as if, this is one of those, your choice, how you want to do this, whether it be your choice for life or choice in each and every now moment, is that it's like they're showing like all the flavors in this like small time frame. So it's like, I have 30 seconds to taste all the flavors. And they're like, well, what if you were to just expand that out? Give yourself a little more time to taste all the flavors.
Maybe do a palate cleanser.
Yeah, like expand it out. That could give you a little bit more peace and help you to be connected with your true essence of your soul, and not distracted by that which is around you and in your field. So it's almost like giving it a little more space so that it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of gobbling everything, intentionally tasting and then experiencing each taste. Okay.
Yeah, and they're sharing that the part of the gobbling everything is also coming from a like a scarcity mindset. Like, oh my God, what if I don't get it all? They're saying, what if you were to come into and just be and know that you will get it all? Yeah. They're saying, just sit with all this. They're like, even though this was a short time frame, this was actually such a large bundle of energy and information, that this is something you'll be able to revisit. And they're sharing too that they're going to communicate with you in dreams as well, to help you integrate the experience. And they're saying you don't have to be consciously aware of it. Just know that's going to be taking place, and you can participate, you cannot, but just know that that's going to be happening in your dreams, in your sleep. Yeah, that feels complete.
Okay. Yeah.
So we thank your record keepers and guides, Your records are now closed. So be it, so be it, so be it. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And of course they would have my sense of humor.
Yeah, all the readings are so unique and different. Like, since you've had like the little mini reading and this was your first reading, like, is there anything that you want to share? Or I know you shared a bit throughout the experience too.
Yeah, because I don't know how not to. So I'm glad they like were of course aware of that and they made it special in that way. Even though I was fully prepared to just like chill. They knew that that wasn't going to be as much fun, right? As much fun for me. And and I need to just trust myself more because every time I ask a question, it's always like, bonk, bonk, And I was like, yeah, but you want something to tell me. So there's like a little bit of that. What was really interesting, what I really enjoyed is when I was following like your train of thought and I was, like keeping present, like the physical sensations, it wasn't just like a listening to you talk. And that's something that is really special because I don't always get that in any sort of other interaction of like even adjacent to this nature. Obviously, this is unlike anything else, but a lot of times it's very cerebral and I'm imagining things. And my last 3 years have all been about like noticing sensations in my body. So if I had done this 3 years ago, when I hadn't spent that time noticing things in my body, I probably wouldn't have had the same experience. And I think that is really interesting because something that's come to me over and over and over again, especially the last like few weeks, is you had to do it this way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been impacted. And that's like with everything across the board. You had to do it this way. And then there was a little bit of the like, am I making it harder than it needs to be? And my answer is probably sometimes. But also that it's okay that I don't want to be like, this is my thing, this is my groove, chuck, 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 because that never felt right either when I tried on that, pointy hat or whatever. So isn't it funny how we don't know until we know, and then we always knew?
And that's remembering, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about these readings, because in the example you gave, okay, 3 years ago, I might have been more cerebral with this. And I mean, I'm probably coming close to like 100 readings now. I don't know. I lost track because now I'm doing the coaching and the free mini stuff. I'm doing it in so many different ways.
So fun.
With all the different experiences that I've had, especially on readings, because readings are different than working with someone one-on-one in like a coaching container, because that's more of like there's an energetic match there. There's always an energetic match, but it's a different client that I'm calling in versus readings. It's a wide range of people on their journey. And so with that being said, I'm starting to be able to feel energetically and be able to tell based on the flow of the answers how open someone is. Are they more cerebral? Are they, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to start to notice the differences. And you definitely, I'm grateful that you came so open, because the messages were like really flowing for you. And they don't always flow for everybody, but I think that part of the reason why they don't flow, and people don't always consciously know this, but there's some kind of a resistance, a block, a closed offness, maybe even to the question that they're asking, they don't really want to hear the
answer. I was really
not going to come through. So there's so many different scenarios.
Right.
Or they're used to getting answers in a certain way. And as you see with this, the answers are coming in pictures or in metaphors or in ways that aren't the typical way, but there's still answers and profoundness in them. And like you said, with the physical experience of your body, there's other messages that are happening.
Yeah. I think that's really what's the most important thing to note is that in general, we don't always get the answers the way that we want it. And sometimes we don't get an answer because we're asking a question we don't want the answer to. And to be fair, I knew that that was a possibility, kind of just learning about myself. And so I really like put conscious effort into the 3 questions that I didn't even end up asking exactly the way I had written it down. Right. And then I think writing it down was really important so that I had something to look at and reread before I asked that question. So if there was like some sort of, and everybody's different, but maybe us people who are interested in the future just to consider, I'm like, my life has changed so much when I started writing what was in my brain and then saying it out loud to another human. Like there's like the other human doesn't even have to be a full participant. It's just if I can't get it, it's like the throat thing. If I can't get it all the way out of my mouth in front of a witness of some sort, I need to go back and think about it or write it out some more or feel my way through it some more. And it's just kind of like been this learning experience to kind of just figure out what is resonating. And it's like this experiment and guessing and checking. And I'm probably making it more complicated than it needs to be, but it's been fun to really learn about myself in that way. And that's really like my personal takeaway of,
yeah, that's beautiful.
so like this was an affirmation of yes, okay, you do enjoy that and there's nothing has gone wrong here, and have fun with it. Slow down, relax, actually have fun with it because you want to have fun with it, Keri. Actually, this is the second time I've had like this weird whooshing in my headphones. Anyway, and it never
Could be a
happened
message
before.
there too, because we're still in this energetic container. And I love that you set some time after, so that way you can just be with whatever comes up, because there is and was an energy transmission that happened here, and energy healing, whether it's known or unknown. So some people who are more sensitive to energy may feel those things, others may not. But you know, if you had to hurry up and rush to get on like a business call in like 20 minutes, like this is just such a magical thing. And I've had that. Some people are like, God, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta call. I mean, what I've learned is that yes, there are certain types of readings that I really enjoy more than others. And it has nothing to do with the person. It has more to do with the energy and the flow with that. And earlier in my journey, I used to be like, God, I wish that person would have just been more open because there were so many juicy things that were coming through. But then I came to realize this isn't about me, although I am benefiting from each one of these experiences. This is about what the person needs in that moment. And like I said earlier, if the person is more of an interrupter and all they do is interrupt, that might be part of the message.
Yeah.
Right? I may not, I don't really enjoy those because there's so much magic coming through, but maybe the fact that the magic isn't coming through that's right there for them, there's a lesson in the fact that it's not coming because they're blocking it, right? It's a mirror reflection of that experience, right? And so I've just come to learn in this time together, 30, 69, whatever the time is, your time, use it how you'd like.
Right.
Right? I can't tell you how to use it because you're going to do what you need to do in that now moment. That then is going to help you have the reflections and the understandings and the confirmations and the activations necessary to move you forward.
Right. Isn't it interesting how I warned you I might interrupt and then like it was not a problem? And like you were like, oh, I hate it when they like how human of us, right?
Totally.
I love it.
Is there any final thoughts or anything else you want to share?
No, but I am going to continue to like as I feel like I'll spit things out to you. If you want to keep people along on the kind of unfolding, I'll I give you permission. If for some reason something comes out that I don't want you, I'll make sure I articulate that. But I think that things like this, you know, stuff matriculates and then becomes clear, and it's like a swirling mist, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and you see, so like I had a big old fat burp when you were so it's like,
Yeah.
I am excited to see what unfolds, and also I love sharing that. So, whatever, we'll take it from there.
Oh, perfect. And for those of you listening or watching, if you would like to have your own personalized experience, I invite you. Of course, soul calling, it's got to make sense. I got to be the right person, all of those good things. So if you go to akashicactivations.com, then you can sign up for a reading there. And I would be honored and grateful to be able to do that with you or for you or be a part of your experience, whatever the words are that resonate there.
Right.
And then I was also going to say, of course, you can find that too in the URL if it's easier to remember. So the name of this podcast, thelifeadventurist.com, that links to like my link tree, and all of the links are there. So whatever way is easier for you, it's all good. I think that's it. I don't have anything else to share. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being on video. Thank you for being on audio. Thank you for sharing this experience, Keri. I really appreciate it.
It was so much fun. It was so worth it. It was so worth it. Like I don't know, just worth it. That's all. It's worth the mystery and the discomfort and the all of it, like all the feelings in the body and all the thoughts in the head, together and separate.
Right.
It's worth it.
Well, thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.